You know, there's a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it.
I want to comment on that clip at the end of this video. What I wanted to say was when I saw that, these are the books that I thought of that have helped me to understand just the context. They're giving me a framework to understand what the heck is going on and how can something like that be happening today in America. The first one is On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder, 20 lessons from the 20th century. And this is him, this is a historian going over, hey, look, these are the things that we've learned from the Holocaust, from World War II and the rise of the Nazis. These are 20 different things that we can do to prevent that same thing from happening in our own country. This is probably one of the best 10 bucks I've ever spent. Very quick read, and I think some of the suggestions in this book has inspired me to become a book talker. Okay, this next one is How Fascism Works by Joseph Stanley, The Politics of Us and Them. I think this one really applies to the video that we just saw. Okay, the next one, Jesus and John Wayne, How White Evangelicals Corrupted a Faith and Fractured a Nation. And this one, the basic premise is that the evangelical Christianity that you see now really is based more on John Wayne and the Western mythologized cowboy hero than they are on Jesus Christ, the Jesus Christ of the Bible. Okay, really amazing. This one, The Twilight of Democracy by Anne Applebaum, The Seductive Lure of Authoritarianism. This one really deals with what's been going on in Eastern Europe in the last 10, 15 years, and it's really, really well done and fascinating. Won Pulitzer Prize for this one. Okay, Heather Cox Richardson, one of my faves, How the South Won the Civil War. This was about how the ideology of the slave owners, the plantation owners, was allowed to survive after the Civil War and to thrive, and how it's kind of leached its way into other parts of our culture, and I found this one really enlightening. All right, this one's dealing with what's going on right now. This is Democracy Awakening, also by Professor Heather Cox Richardson. Really gets into Trump's presidency and all the implications that has on America and the health of American democracy. And then last but certainly not least, this is Hannah Arendt, The Origins of Totalitarianism. This book is trying to help us to understand how totalitarianism was formed and started in the 20th century, and how it was a unique and a never before seen form of government, type of politics. And it's just so incredibly dense. I mean, the page, it's several hundred pages. This is easily the hardest read of the ones that I've mentioned. But Hannah Arendt was really an incredible thinker and writer and just and historian. Okay, and then to my own thoughts about that video, I think that's something I haven't seen in my lifetime. Maybe people have said that on stage, running for office, but I think that marks, there are these things that are happening, and I think it's important for us to talk about them, that things are happening right now that are showing us the health and wellness of our democracy, of our union together, that we are in some ways moving forward, but in obviously some ways moving backwards. To have someone call for violence like that against whoever that you happen to think deserves that is incredibly terrifying. And we have to remember, if we look back at history, that violent acts that are committed against people are talked about first. That's really the thing that I thought of when I saw that clip, was just that violent acts that we read about in history, especially against large groups of people, are talked about first. You have to rationalize them first. You have to find a mythology to harken back to. He says, in the clip, part of that clip, he says, back when we used to know how to deal with these types of people, we would just, and so his justification is this mythological past. And that's how the Nazis worked. They harkened back to a mythological past that never existed. That's one of the origins of kind of how anti-Semitism works. All of these different things is like, you gotta have a mythologized past. You harken back to that. It justifies violence against certain groups now. That's all of that is in that one little clip. That's pretty terrifying. I don't have some positive, I don't have some half glass full thing to say at the end here. I just think that it's important for us to, as people who are trying to understand what's going on in our world, to keep reading, keep talking, and recognize these moments that are big, because things are being normalized that are just plain Okay. Thanks.